Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this special AMA session for Mission 4 with Hunter and Sam. And so you will have us also in the chat to answer any additional question you may have or some precision you would need on some of the answers. And so let's start immediately without further ado with the first questions and bringing on screen Hunter and Sam. Hi.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
Okay. So first question that we have here, is there a possibility that in future missions there would be a removal of the ownership cards from the drop pool? So I guess it's the NFT staking pool. And of course, the sponsorship would remain there, and the ownership should be obtained only by crafting. So I will let you answer.
Sam, you want to take that one?
Yep, fine. So as it stands, there's no plans to allow ownership cards to be crafted. There never have been ownerships crafted apart from the initial mission 1. The plans are mainly for ownership cards to come via either the hoppers, where you're purchasing cards and randomly get one as kind of a surprise reward, or the colony development, where there will be active engagement with the community to build things like buildings, and then those ownership cards will be given out as rewards for the people that have taken part in those activities. So no, they won't be available via crafting, but there will be ownership cards given out via various methods, as there always have been.
Yep. Yeah, nothing to add for me. I think that's a great explanation of where we're headed with it.
Okay, great. So next question, yeah, that's a question for me, so I will go very fast. So Madeleine, I see your point about moderation and so on, and we will indeed have something put in place to solve this. And thank you for raising this item. Thanks.
Yep.
So the next question about the game, to go back to the game itself. How many missions will there be in the future? And when will we see some merch, hoodies, caps with the CM logo, and so on?
Yeah. So, as it's always been, the Colonize Mars plan is to progress sort of a simulated version of the colonization process for Mars, which will include missions that build upon each other. And so for the amount of missions to go, we're probably about 1/3 of the way there in terms of building out the full sort of main colony, the alpha base. And our intention is to continue to build out that base based on the master plan that we've worked with our aerospace engineers to develop. So I would say, since we're on mission 4, we're probably going to go up to somewhere, in terms of mission count, maybe around 10. But the way that these missions are going to progress, we'll get more and more about colony development, and less about these larger drops. And so the colony development mechanic will be kind of a key part of future missions, since the story of it is that the first few missions, most of the equipment would be coming on rocket ships, on convoys to the Red Planet. A lot of the structures, a lot of the items would be shipped from Earth and assembled. Things like the inflatable structures that we've had, and other items that are produced and manufactured on Earth and then sent to Mars. But as the colony gets to a larger size, a lot of the in situ construction methods for Mars would get utilized. Things like 3D printing, manufacturing with regolith, using some of the more unique materials on Mars to construct structures. So that's why we've developed the colony development part of the game. And as part of that, you can put construction resources towards building buildings. And so that will be a part of how the colony develops in the future missions and a part of the way we would distribute ownership cards.
Okay. So next one, yes. We know that the MMORPG, it's an art milestone to reach, and it's a little bit early to ask, but it would be great if you shared some information about it, and if you made some plans for it, and if we can help with something. I do think, also the person asking, I do think we are a lot of people with Literal who would love to help. And in comments, they said also we had a small conversation about it, and we are a few that played MMORPG in the past, and maybe we could help you guys with something. So that's a very nice feeling, and I will let you.
Yeah, that's very nice, and I think it's really awesome that everyone in the community is wanting to help and wanting to get us to continue with some of these more involved gameplay features. And the RPG is something we're really excited about. We've been recruiting for it and creating sort of a team that will be specifically building the RPG. And the team's very talented industry veterans from game development, and they're ready to go on it. We are putting in sort of place the ability to get that team to start, and of course, the involvement of the community will be really, I think, a great thing we can do as we continue to build out the core features of that game. Of course, we are really focused on the real-time strategy game that we're building now. That's really what we are pushing to release and develop throughout the rest of 2022. And an RPG game, of course, is a more significant development effort, requires a significant team, and all of the things that come with that. So we really want to take it one step at a time and grow in a way that's responsible in terms of the company. And so yeah, we are really excited about it. We want it to be something that is indicative of the astronaut sort of perspective on Mars. It's going to feed off of the strategy game and vice versa. Some really cool things that Tom and Sam and others have been working on to make it really come alive.
Okay, thanks. So next question. So the next question is about ownerships. So the question is, what are the team's actions in order to preserve the main value or maintain the value of the ownership and sponsorship cards? So it comes from a member who has invested to get ownerships for himself, and who is worried about their value. And he also said that he would hope to have some kind of maybe exclusive meetup or AMA between ownership holders and with the team.
Yeah, so I mean, one thing that we've always said from the beginning is that the idea of the game is to expand, and colonize Mars, and with that comes more objects, more items that are shipped to the Martian surface. Each one, a ownership or a sponsorship card, and that's how we're designing the main colony to be. So it's always been the plan that more and more of these cards would be a part of the main colony. So that's always been in place. In terms of the future and some of the ways that this goes into land and other features, maybe Sam, if you want to touch on that.
Yeah, of course. I've got an ownership card myself, so I'm fully aware of the ramifications of the decisions we're making. One thing that we've discussed quite heavily in the design team is making sure that ownership card holders have a voice in the development and the future of the game. We've got a governance system we're working on that involves people being able to vote on proposals and help influence the direction the game takes. And with that system, initially, it will be the ownership card holders who will have the biggest say. And while that may change over time, it's a large time frame it changes over. And it does give that initial reward and I don't want to say control, but area of influence to people that have made the large investment in the game and understand the ramifications of what's going on. On top of that as well, I think, as Hunter said, the plan is for it to expand. But the way the development pools work, it means that as you're contributing more to things, you've got a higher chance of getting more ownership cards back. So those of you that have the ownership cards and therefore can add more data or more construction materials to certain pools will have more chance of winning more ownership cards back. So the proportion of your collection of ownership cards compared to the colony, in theory, should remain average if you're average currently, or whale-like if you're whale-like currently. So there's no reason to think your collection will deteriorate over time. It depends on what route you decide to take in resource gameplay. But there are options for maintaining your weighting of colony ownership cards via colony development.
Okay, so next question is about the token pools. So will the token pools end, and if so, when is it planned? And can you give us an approximate date?
Yeah, I mean, the only one that's planned to end is the NFT reward pool. And in terms of the token pools, there's no plans to end that. If we do end up deciding to move in that direction, we'll make sure to announce it and let everyone know as soon as possible.
Next question.
Yeah, we get
when
the
will Colonize Mars have a DAO based on Marsha token and start decision by the community in the game? Will it be for Mission 5?
So the governance structure that we are designing, I'm very excited about. I think it's what we've always tried to stay true to and continue to is if we think about the colony or sort of the development process on Mars, the colonization process on Mars, how might new outposts form and how might astronauts make decisions as sort of a self-sustaining unit on a new planet? And also, how might the ISA, which is sort of our vision of a decentralized aerospace industry, have a say being the ones that sponsored the first humans to Mars missions? And so the governance structure and the feature is really about telling that story of how the ISA and the astronauts and the folks on Mars work together to create their vision of what Mars can be and what the best sort of way to structure a civilization would be. So there's elements of voting, there's elements of debate, there's elements of finding the best path forward in terms of government structures, organizing new development of buildings, outposts, other things that are going to be necessary to expand human presence on Mars. And in terms of when that rolls out, this is one of the features that we want to really explore after we get the resource and hazard gameplay finished. And we think that it can be a really great thing to kickstart some of the land things because, of course, land and choosing where to go next, after the main colony is something that we want everyone to have a say in. We want people to weigh in and have discussion and really make thoughtful decisions about, just like, when we get there in real life, in what I believe the 2030s, how will these decisions be made? And that's we want to simulate that. We want people to feel like they're really participating in a decision about where humanity is going next on Mars, and that's some of the excitement of it. It's some of the ways that we think that this game can be impactful outside of just a game, but it really has this real world impact and this insight into how people are going to make decisions about what happens on Mars. So, yeah, I mean, this is something that I would say is a priority after we get some of the resource and strategy elements out, and the engineering team is fantastic. They've been working really hard. There's a lot of sort of complex systems that need to be put in place to enable some of the strategic elements. So we all appreciate your patience on that, and it really does mean a lot. We are kind of working as hard as we can to get that going, and these features will come out. And we'd love to also share, these more works in progress features and get your feedback on it earlier. So that's something that we're also working on.
Okay, so next one. Does the bridge for Masha token also includes listing on SEX or CEX, centralized exchange, or decentralized exchange like Binance?
Yeah, so the bridge for Marsha token, we intend to go to Binance and Ethereum networks first. The way we'd like to approach it is using DEXs first. Of course, centralized exchanges are on our radar, but we're looking to go there first.
Okay. Next one. How is our Colonize Mars marketing team doing, or marketing doing?
Yeah, so our marketing team has been growing. We have a new hire that is a fantastic sort of leader for us for marketing. His name's Scott. We'll introduce him soon to the community, but he's been doing a great job kind of getting some of the infrastructure in place. We have a lot of really exciting things coming for the marketing team. Some really great ways that we're going to be engaging influencers, getting more shareability in our updates, more in progress, sort of in development, diving more into the team, and I think that's going to be really great to see. And then, of course, lots more videos, lots more updates. And really what we're trying to do is get in place something that's sustainable for us as we're working really hard to develop this every single day. To also be able to share this out with marketing is extremely important. So yeah, a lot of progress there. There's a couple other people that are also new to that team, and so we will be sharing more about that very soon.
Okay, great. So here, that's a longer questions. You have given us a glimpse of the M4 prices. Is there a chance that we could buy the M4 with reasonable amount of Masha token, not depending of the current Masha value? What will be the price of M4 based on Masha token? Is it depending on the current value of the Masha token at the time?
Do you want to take this one?
Yep, fine. The price in Marsha will depend on the dollar value of Marsha at that point in time. So we can't give you any specific prices at the moment. It will be constantly fluctuating. Obviously, as Hunter's just said, we're looking into bridges to Binance and Ethereum, which may then potentially alter the value of Marsha, and if the dollar value of Marsha goes up, then it takes less Marsha to buy from the sale, and vice versa. So there can be some flexibility there. When the question says, is there a chance that we could buy Mission 4 with a reasonable amount of Marsha token? I guess the question back is, what's a reasonable amount of Marsha? Where one thing we've been conscious of designing is there's the solar flare hopper, where you can buy 3 solar flare cards, and it will cost a significant amount of Marsha. Or you can buy 1 card from the lowest hopper, and it won't cost much Marsha at all. So we're hoping to have a system that caters to multiple different budgets, and I would hope there will be options for whatever your reasonable amount of Marsha is. There will be things you can buy from the store. And there will be an element of trying to time when you think perhaps other people are overbuying or underbuying, and adapt your gameplay based on that, based on where the value of the Marsha token is going, and therefore how much bang you're getting for your buck in the store.
Yeah, and of course, Marsha being an in-game asset, designed so you can expand your collection and play the resource game. The resource game is kind of hand in hand with the NFTs going into the store. So, as Sam alluded to there, like the way that people are playing the resource game, we think will also change the way that people want to buy NFTs. And so the structure of the store really caters more towards this continual sort of gameplay behavior where, as the colony expands and as new equipment gets shipped to Mars, as new amounts of resources are produced, that'll change the way that people perceive what resources are valuable. Just like, astronauts, as they're expanding the colony on Mars, there will be an influx of power needed when new power, items that require power get, put online. And, there's going to be new food that's going to be required as more greenhouses or as more astronauts get to Mars. So these things will change the way that people look at the NFTs, and it's all to sort of support this gameplay of managing a limited resource economy and basically a self-sustaining colony. So that's how we've designed the store, so that it's really long-term, looking at how the NFTs play into how the colony is expanding.
And on the back of that as well, where you've got the resource gameplay, people are selecting how much resource to output, and the more resources you're outputting, the less Marsha you're outputting. So there could be a significant change in the amount of Marsha being put into the system, but in exchange there'll be plenty more resources, which obviously have a direct Marsha value. So the whole thing is going to get mixed up. It's going to be interesting to see where things go with the price of all the different resource tokens.
Yeah, and one other thing is we, now is kind of one of the last times where the your NFTs are like safe on Mars. Like there's no hazards right now impacting the cards. Cards are earning sort of 100% Marsha token, but when resource gameplay comes online, that changes. Like the Marsha token amount that you're earning has a potential to go significantly down, with resources balancing that out. So we're very early still with this game. Kind of, the folks listening to this and the folks in our community, they're the Marsha that's being circulated and distributed from the NFTs will not be the same pretty soon. And so that will, of course, affect the NFTs in the store as well. So these are all things to keep in mind, and we want to make sure that everyone's aware of kind of how these gameplay features sort of interact with the tokens and how they're distributed within the gameplay.
Okay, great. So next question is a question that is of great importance right now in the chat in the Discord. and it is, will you give an incentive to buy into the Mission 4 pools with Marsha over Wax? So we would all prefer a Marsha-only store over Wax, but I know that helps bring the complexity down for new players, says the person asking the question.
Yeah, so Sam, you want to give them the
Yeah, the intention is for us to have a 5% discount if you're buying with Marsha instead of Wax. So the incentive is there to buy with Marsha. But as the question rightly stated, we don't want to make it too complex for new people to join in the game. We want people to be able to come straight in and buy with the Wax token if they choose to. So that option will remain there. But yes, there is an incentive. If you want to use your Marsha, you'll get a discount, and that will potentially encourage some people to change their Wax to Marsha and then use that Marsha in the store, which will influence the value of Marsha, which will influence the value of how much everyone's Marsha is buying in the store. So it's all a big spider web tangled together that will have knock-on impacts on things. Yeah, interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah, and we're also, working on other ways to buy NFTs in the store. These are the first two that we will have, and then we'll give eventually a more ways to buy NFTs, other cryptocurrencies. I think Ethereum would be one that we would definitely want pretty soon. But yeah, there's a 5% discount for buying with Marsha instead of Wax. So that will be live in the store when Mission 4 launches.
So next question is a question about update dates on the Binance Chain bridge and the resource chain gameplay.
Yeah, so we are very focused on getting the Mission 4 release out right now. The next thing on the list would be these two features. Our goal is to kind of release them around the same time. This would most likely be in September. And again, this is there's a significant amount of security and complexity to any bridge, and we are trying to take the safest and most reliable path possible. So, we appreciate everyone's patience with it. The devs are working as hard as they can to make sure that this is as solid as it can be. And so, yeah, we will give updates for specific dates as soon as we have them. But it's sort of week by week we're making progress. But there's always things that come up that with developing these brand new features that are quite complex. It takes some time to really work through the right solution. So yeah, we are working on it as fast as we can. We appreciate people's patience on it, and we'll continue to give updates.
Okay. So I have a series of 3 questions from the same person, which I think can be answered quite fast, each of them. Now, the first one is, what are the next steps regarding the staking? So Marsha, NFT, and resources.
The plan is to end the NFT reward pool, as it always has been the plan, and we've telegraphed that to the community. The other pools remain. There could be the option in future to add more pools. It will be interesting to see how the pool's weightings change when people have the ability to constantly spend Marsha in the store. I know that I'm personally torn between whether I stake or whether I buy new NFTs. So yeah, the option will remain there. It's like I said, it's an option of what you do with your Marsha. I'm sure some people will continue to stake, and obviously as people remove their Marsha from the pool, your percentage of the rewards increase. So there will definitely be a tipping point where it's worth staking. Absolutely. There'll be a tipping point where it's not worth staking. It's worth buying stuff from the store. And it'll be interesting to see the community work that out. And I'm sure it'll be constantly fluctuating as well. So yeah, they will remain. There'll be options there for people to use their Marsha in that format still.
Okay. So next one is about the minigame. So will the expedition minigame disappear or stay? Are other minigames planned? And if the expedition minigame stays, or if other are created, will this become the only way of collecting resources?
Yeah, so the expedition portion of the game will continue to evolve, and we'd actually like to make it more in tune with um, the the land and some of the ways that people can explore an actual, mapped region of the actual surface of Mars. The whole point of the expedition feature is to get this sense of exploration that astronauts will have when they set out across the surface of Mars, to find resources, to find discoveries, and so that's where we're going with it. There will be more strategic elements to choosing the vehicle, where that vehicle is located, maybe some of the resources that it can actually find, breaking up the experience to be a little bit more involved in terms of scanning, mining, etc. And we see it kind of working hand in hand with some of the land stuff. And then in terms of the the what was the second part of the question was. Oh, only way of collecting resources. So no, it's not the only way to collect resources. The resource gameplay, the resource chain, where items in the colony will be producing inputs and outputs, that's all resource generation as well. So that's actually going to be the main way that resources are generated through the game, where expedition, resources would be more supplementary, and over time it might become more specialized, where you go on expeditions for specific kinds of resources, where the main colony and outposts generate resources that are more needed for manufacturing and construction.
Then on top of that as well, one of the things are other mini games planned? And I think one thing that we have looked at in the design team quite heavily is a repair mini game. It's definitely something that we've examined quite heavily, but the question has started to become, would the mini game make more sense in an RPG than it would in the strategy game? And that's certainly a balancing act that we're looking into currently. There certainly will be more mini games, whether you do them third person, actually fixing a piece of machinery on a map, or whether you do it as a more kind of more similar to the exploration mini game, where it can be done digitally from a mobile device, for example. That's what we're kind of weighing up at the moment. So yes, there's more mini games in the pipeline. Whether they're part of the strategy gameplay or whether they're part of the RPG gameplay is where it's more in the air for us as a team.
Great. So next question, what is planned in terms of communication to attract more players and space enthusiasts?
Yeah, so we'll be doing some more AMAs and interviews with some folks in the aerospace community. We'll be, releasing a lot more videos, walkthroughs, explainers, partnering with more influencers. These are all things that are in the pipeline, that we will update, and these are things we are working on and will be releasing quite soon. So yeah, that's pretty much what's planned. I don't want to give too much more on it yet until it starts kind of releasing, but it's a very robust and exciting strategy.
Yes. And the next question. So the person made quite a long text here, so I just will add the question at the bottom of the screen. And the context is that, so we know that the team is growing and that some people have been recruited to expand the communication and to publicize the project. And then the question is, how will this happen? And what are the short and long-term objectives of this new team? And why wasn't this prioritized earlier?
Yeah, so as a project, we've always been quite uh, product focused and thinking through a lot of the virtual economy things, the things that really take a large amount of thinking and work to balance and make engaging and fun. This is kind of like a 10-year journey we're on. We're very early in this process, and we believe that building a product is paramount to gathering an audience, and so we really wanted to focus on that first and sort of get a good foundation going. And we spent the first part of the year really building that foundation, building out a great engineering team, great operations, and other areas that really are required to build that foundation. And the marketing, will continue to grow and expand. And we think that is the right way to prioritize it because we are building for the long term.
Okay. And so, last question from this member. What means do you envisage for the CM current funds to participate in raising awareness about the project?
Yeah, so we will have, I think, some special programs to be announced soon on specific ways to help us get the message out. And this will be coming through some of the social channels. If you're interested in helping share and spread the message, we will give you the tools that you need to be successful at it. And we really want it to be a fun thing. The community we know is very passionate about sharing and also talking about their vision for Mars and their vision for the game. And perhaps it's as part of a guild or a group of friends or whatever it is, giving you guys the tools you need to promote and share the game with people that you think would also enjoy it is really what we're working on. We've tried a couple things. We're continuing to evolve until we really get it the right way. And so yeah, that's definitely something that's coming soon.
And on the back of that as well, one of the things was fans to participate in, and the governance system is designed to exactly allow that. We want there to be a system where we can put questions to the player base, and they can use their voting power to say, yes, this is the direction we want you to go in, or no, don't go in this direction, or directly compete with each other and say, we want an outpost in this location because there's ice over there, and someone else says, no, tough, I want to go mining minerals over this way. I'm denying your proposal. I'm submitting my own proposal to make a mining colony over here. And we want that player interaction. We want that player feedback. And we want to have a real life experience of how a Martian colony could start expanding out. And that involves the direct participation of the community.
Okay, great. So now I will quickly jump one question to just answer the question of Ila. Will there be any advantage for buying Marsha with Marsha rather than Wax, as it has already been answered? You will get a 5% discount for Marsha purchases. And then we can go to the next one, which is for you, Hunter, specifically, and it's written in the question. Are you satisfied with the pace of development? If you had to evaluate overall team performance based on expectation, what rating would you give? Oh, I'm stressed.
So, I think it's important to keep in mind that this company and this project has been around basically only since the start of last year. So, the team has grown really quickly over the course of basically 18, 20 months. And I'm really proud of the amount of talent and the amount of passion that's on the team, and the different people that are joining on this mission to, sort of create a really compelling story about what the future of multiplanetary civilization would look like. And I think everyone on the team is really united about that, drive to communicate that. So I think that in terms of the pace of development, there's a lot of ways that blockchain specifically kind of adds, a layer of detail and a layer of sophistication that's required, that we've really been, I think, on top of and are learning more and more every week on how to address this better, and getting much better with that development process. And I think that the team has been performing in an excellent capacity, and it's part of growing quickly is realizing sort of how to continue to improve and push the boundaries of what's possible. And I think we've done a fantastic job being such a young company, building for a long term. And we haven't outpaced our growth. We've been very, I think, selective and steady in terms of growing the team in the right ways. And so, yeah, I'm very happy with the way that the team is formed, and I think that it's really cool. I think there's about 13 countries represented on the team at this point, so we're sort of worldwide, and very interesting perspectives from all over the world that are contributing to this vision as well. So yeah, some really amazing things have happened. I'm very thankful to be on this journey. It's been an amazing thing to see things grow, and think the community and the discussions that have been had are also really inspiring to me.
Great. Yeah.
I noticed
I
you didn't give a
personally,
rating. I want to hear what the rating is.
yeah, the rating.
It's 10 out of 10. No, I mean, look, there's always things that happen that come up, but it really depends on, I think, the effort and the level of like the level of um, excellence and sort of effort that's been put in. And I think that we've all been trying our hardest to make this happen. And I think that that's really what's key. And there's amount of learning that goes along with building a brand new product in a very new industry. And I think that we have done an incredible job sort of starting that from basically square one. So yeah, I would say like we're performing at the best possible thing we could at this point in time, and it will just keep on getting better.
I know the question was for Hunter, but I want to say as well that the quality of people that we have in the team now is absolutely phenomenal. And when you look at some of the people we have and their backgrounds and what they've achieved in the past, and they're now working for Colonize Mars, I'm proud to be part of the team, but I'm proud to be working with these people that, as Hunter says, it's a fledgling industry, but the people we've got in the team might have decades of experience before they join us in related industries. So it's not as if we're all kind of wandering around in the dark guessing what to do. These people are bringing genuine knowledge to the table, and it is heavily influencing the directions we take in a positive way.
And I certainly share that impression. I don't have the decades of experience in what I'm doing right now, but I'm impressed with the team I'm working with, and really enjoy working with people all around the world too. So that's really great. Okay, let's go to the next question. Yes, so this one is, hey, oh, that's a memory from last year. Just wondering, will there be any use for the Draco dice and Colonize Mars cards, or interaction, I guess, between both of those? Thank you.
Yeah, so nothing planned yet. we're pretty occupied in just sort of getting the core features online for Colonize Mars. You know, we will definitely visit this, you know, if it's appropriate, but we do also have kind of our sights set on some pretty interesting other brand partnerships that I think people will really be excited about as well. But those will come in due time. Of course, like we are, we have quite a lot of work to do to get the game built to the quality level and, you know, the amount of polish that we want. And so that's really our focus right now.
Okay, so we arrive at the last one that I've kept for the end because when I saw it, I thought, yeah, that one. It's the last one, obviously. And so the question is, can I get Hunter's autograph? Maybe an NFT.
Sure. Yeah. I guess we'll have to organize some sort of maybe a patch, an achievement or something. I don't know. I don't really
Okay.
know what to say to that.
Yeah, that was a nice question in the list. So yes, so we are still in the chat at the time where you watch this, except if it's a replay. So if it's a replay, sorry. But I hope you got all the answers you wanted during this recording. And thanks again for being leads, for being very appreciated member of the community of players.
Yes,
So
thank you, everyone. Thanks for your participation. Congrats on being leads. Exciting things to come, and you guys are awesome.
okay, so see you in the chat during the diffusion then, and bye Sam, bye Hunter, and bye everyone.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.